Hi everybody, it's Matthew here from Bead Spider. How are we all doing today? I'm going to be showing you lots of fun little techniques, all sorts of different things, which more or less are just really basic, easy little things to try and learn for your jewelry making purposes. If you haven't seen already, we're doing a sale on our Bead Spider mini kits. So each of the mini kits, which here is an example of one of those little kits just here. Each one of these little kits does have in it everything that you would need, and teaching you one little technique that you can then try out to make yourself a really nice little piece of jewelry. So I'm going to show you some of the techniques that are in that, one of which is like creating a spiral with square knot macrame. I'm also going to show you how to do 4 different types, well, we'll say 3, and maybe we'll have time for the 4th, of 4 different types of sliding knots. So knots that you can use for your clasps, if you're using cord or anything like that. So that'll be fun as well. They're useful. But yeah, 4 of those. And then, of course, I'm also going to show you our 7-strand braiding, which is really cool. It's a fun little design from Ruth and Shirley from the Braiders Guild here in the UK. So I'm going to show you that as well, how you can do it just as a braid, how you can also do it with beads in there and things. But it'll be good fun, I think. So yeah, let's have a little look, see who we've got joining us already. If you haven't seen today's special, which is the mini kits, which are perfect stocking fillers, you can either give them to someone as a whole kit, because it does include full instructions. They're really good beginner projects, or you can make it and give the project as a gift, which is quite a nice little thing to do. But anyway, so let's see, who have we got here? We've got Kay, as usual. It looks like Kay and Wayne were a little early today. We had the clocks changed here just last weekend, so it looks like Wayne and Kate arrived a little bit early this time, but hopefully they weren't running around too long. So thanks Wayne and Kay for joining nearly an hour early, but they're here, so they've made it on time, which is great. We've got May here as well. She says, I'm so excited. Edward is here. He says, good afternoon, everyone. We've also got Rebecca, who says, hello, everyone. We've got Stacy says hello. She's over on Facebook, because we are live both on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously at the minute. We've got Karen, which I don't know if I've seen you before, but welcome. If this is your very first stream, definitely comment in, especially if you're brand new, so I can give you a little shout out and say hello. We do have some of our usual suspects here as well. We've got Seema, who's joined us. Welcome, Seema. Thanks for joining you. Nice to see you again. Jane, who clearly doesn't live very far. She's in Cheltenham, as are we. So just down the road is Jane. Here we go. Margaret. She's new. She says, hi all. This is my first time here. Welcome, Margaret. Thanks for joining. And if you're watching this not live, because right now it's 3 p.m. in the UK and today is the 5th of November, if you're coming to this later, thanks for joining. Don't forget, you can always fast forward, I guess, once you're watching it on demand, in case you want to skip any bits. Plus then you can rewind, rewatch things, rewatch how I do some of these techniques as well. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe, of course. And shall we begin? Shall we get into it? So, like I said, I've got quite a few different techniques which I can show you all today. Where to begin? That's a tough question. Do you know what? I think I might start with doing some snake knot macrame. So if you haven't seen what snake knot looks like before, hopefully, let's see. Let's pop it over to here, shall we? So yes, snake knot. It's quite a nice little technique. One second. There we go. Let's just pop this over here. And where are we now? There we go. So yes, snake knot. It's this little design just here. So this is one of the mini kits that we have. This one here, I'm going to show you how to do snake knot, which I think is really, really cool. It's sort of meant to look like the sort of the scales of a snake, how they sort of interlock with each other. But you know, it's a nice, simple, easy little design that we're going to do on this one. The colours I've got, I've already semi-prepared this one a little bit in advance, this one. I've got for myself here a couple of strands just here. So this is like a ribbon cord that I'm using. So it's our smooth and slinky cord that I like to use. Hi to Pete, by the way, who's just joined us. He says, hi, Bead Spider. Welcome. Thanks for joining us, Pete. Lovely to see you. Oh no, it says Brad Spider, and he's updated it and now says Bead Spider. Maybe that should, if only my name was Brad, that would be great. Brad Spider. But yeah, so I've got the ribbon cord just here. You can see it's like a flat cord. It's sort of thin in one direction and fat in the other. And it is perfect for doing this snake knot technique. So essentially what I've got is 2 cords. Each one is about 1.5 meters long. And what I've done down here is about 40 centimeters worth of cord just there. And I've more or less just tied a little knot in the center here, just sort of overhand knot, leaving a little loop at the top there. So if I show you the sort of knot I mean, essentially I've got a little loop like this, and all I've done is just sort of left over right, so create a little loop, and then take your loop inside. Wait, let's do it a bit bigger, shall we? So it's easier to see. So you just fold your cord over like this, and then take the loop through there like this, and then when you pull it, you'll see it creates this sort of loop at the top, and you want to try and make it a nice little one. So that's essentially how I've started it off. Once you've got it at this point, essentially, we want to have our 2 short cords, which are our sort of central cords. We want to have them down the center. We want to have 1 to the left and 1 over to the right. Now, to make this easier, it's definitely going to help if you pin this down to something. So if you've got like a bead mat, or if you've got like a even just to a tablecloth, or if you've got, like I have here, a macrame board, these things are great. I'll show you what they look like. Where is it? Here we are. This is a macrame board. 1 second. Always misbehaving on me. So this is a macrame board just here, which is what I'll be more or less attaching to. They're just sort of like a foam board that you can sort of do your macrame work on. So if I just attach the bottoms down here, and then I'll just pin myself, pin this one to the top. You can either create like a little loop and attach it to the top like that, which if only I had a little bit of cord I could do. Actually, maybe I'll make myself a little cord and attach it, which I can just cut this off a bit later. Luckily, I've got a pair of scissors, and let's just attach this fella to the top. So if I just give myself a little bit of thread or something like this, you can just tie it through the loops just here. And just tie them in a nice little knot here. Once. Oh, I missed one. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Makes no difference. It'll still hold everything for me, I should think. Tie that there. And now these little bits, these little top parts, I can just thread into the gap on my macrame board. So I'll just pop that inside here. So see, look, there you go. And it'll just hold my little cord nicely in there, and it will sort of allow me to pin these down to the bottom. So I'll just catch one in one little notch just here, and I'll catch the one there into the notch beside, and then just to get it nice and firm, I will pull my little thread here at the back, and there you go. You can see everything is nice and tight on that board, and now I've got 1 to the left and 1 going off to the right. So there we are, looking good. I'm happy with that. Let's even rotate it over. I'm gonna just turn it over here. Here we go. So let's just swap these now. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just left it where I was. I'm always wanting to make it just that tiny bit better. There we go. Pull that back up there. There we go. So one inside here, one inside there. There we go. And this is essentially how you do the snake knot technique. It's a really easy little technique that we're going to learn just here. And it's more or less just going over the top in one way and then underneath again on the other side. So it's quite a simple little process. It doesn't take very long to learn at all. Here we go. And I'll just show it to you now, shall we? There. Now I can see my comments a little bit better. Cynthia's joined us. She says, hello, Andrew. And she also says, hello, Jermaine. Clearly saying hello to everybody. But yeah, so if you don't know, this is a comment Jermaine has just put up. This cord just here, it's called Smooth and Slinky. You can go and get it on our website if you want to. But essentially what this cord is, it's a polyester core through the center, and then it's got multiple strands of rayon woven around the outside, around the core, and that gives it that really lovely, smooth, soft feel about it. But then that polyester core gives it a really nice strength through the center. So anyway, now that I've got it all set up, it's a really, really easy process to do. So the first thing that we're going to do is just take this one over the top of the near one and underneath the opposite side. So we'll just go underneath like that. We'll do this one first, and we'll just pull it up, and we can just sort of let it sit over to the side here. Then we'll take this one. We want to make sure we go over the top of this, and underneath the far side. So it's exactly the same, just in mirror image. So we go underneath there and pull that tight. And then we can just pull them up sort of at the top like this. See that? And then that's going to bring these together just here like this. There we go. Now we'll do the same process again, just to make sure that you're getting the right effect. We want to always try and do it from the same side. So we'll go, the left side now is going to go over the top and under here. And then we'll pull that nicely up tight and across. There, like that, see? Oh, I'll slide that down a little. Now we'll do the same with the other. So it's going to go over the top of this one, over the top of this one, and underneath this one. See, it's easy. This one, you're not even really tying any knots. It's just sort of almost like braiding that we're going to do here. So again, let's pull that sort of nice and firm in opposite directions. There we go. Keep my center core nice and firm here. There we go. And just pull them in opposite directions. Now we'll do it again. So I'll just take this one back over and under the other side. Pull it over here. We'll do the same again. This one is going to go over this side and under this one here. So as we just progress, we're just going to be repeating the same process. And you can see if you just spend a little bit of time getting it to sit nicely, it's going to come together really, really nicely. So now I'll do it again. So if I just hold that there, this one's going to go over the top and under this one. And then this one is going to come over the top of both of these and under this one here. And you can do this with pretty much any form of ribbon if you wanted to. It's a really versatile little technique. So we'll just pull this up, pull them both up. Sort of the easiest way to pull it is to just press your finger on the actual cord and sort of pull slightly upwards on both of them. Do it the other way, and there you go. There's the next one there. Just spend a few moments every now and again making sure that your ribbon is staying sort of that flatter shape. And we'll continue again, shall we? So we'll go underneath the far side. Just pull that back up a little bit. Get a little bit tighter. There we go. And now this one over the top and over the top. And under this side here. See that? So it's a nice, easy little technique. It looks a little bit messy each time for just a few seconds there. But then as we pull it up, get my center nice and firm again. Seems to be coming loose. Let's pull that there. There we go. That'll help it. There we are. And make sure it's just, see how it's rotating just slightly here? Just undo it a little if you need to. And reposition it to make sure it's sitting just that little bit flatter. So I'll just rotate that. There we go. There we are. And that's looking a bit better now. So let's just push this all up a bit. Pull it a bit tighter. There we go. And now if I just zoom in, you start to see that it gets this really nice sort of overlapping pattern, one going over the other and over the other and over the other and so forth. So it looks quite nice as you keep going, if you just sort of progress. I'll show you what happens if you do them alternating, just as a bit of an experiment, so that you'll see the sort of the process. So I'm going to do the exact same thing, but I'm going to start. Oh, I've got a big wound on my finger. I just realized. Poor me. So I'm going to do now the opposite side first. So I'm going to start with this side, just to sort of see what happens, just to show you, I guess. It's not going to make a huge problem, but it's just not quite going to be as neat if you're changing. You won't have quite the same level of symmetry is all. It'll still look good. See how they sort of alternate a bit more now? So you can, if you want to, you can do it like that and get a bit more of an alternated look. It's up to you how you prefer. So now I will go back to using this one first. And it'll just show you get a slightly different pattern. So essentially you need to choose whether or not you're going to pick a side that's going to do the same, be the starting one each time, or if you're going to use one color of your threads to be the one that you start with each time. But we'll just continue upwards. You see, you get ever so slightly different pattern coming through now. So see, this is before where you would get sort of individual stripes like this, and now you're sort of getting alternating stripes. It still looks very, very good, so it's a preference. The only issue is that the stripes are now in doubles, in pairs. See that? So you've got 1 and 1, then 1 and 1, then 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. So it's almost like a double snake knot rather than doing it as a single snake knot, which is quite fun as well. It's another decent pattern, but whichever one you prefer is up to you. So do you see that, what I mean by how it's almost like a double snake knot? Each of these little loops are in pairs now. Let's do the next one. See, there you go. See, now we've got 2 here, which leaves a tiny gap in the central thread here, but that's no problem. So this is why, if you like this pattern, then go for it, but this is why you would always try and do it so that you start with the left and then do the right, and then start with the left and then do the right, and then start with the left and then do the right. But if you prefer this pattern, you would just pick one color of cord and you just keep going again and again and again until you've sort of got that same effect there. So whichever way you prefer, that's more or less how you can do it. And then essentially once you get to the very, very end, all you would need to do is tie the base cords together, finish it all off, and then that's pretty much everything on how you do your snake knots. So snake knots, there you go. We're going to just blast through the techniques today. Like I said, there's going to be quite a lot of them, so I will just be sort of going through. I should mention, by the way, the mini kits, which if you haven't seen them on the website, they come in assorted colors. So if you are going to be buying them, you can buy 2 of the same, and odds are they're not going to be the same color. So like, for example, if you got the Helter Skelter kit, this one, whoops, let's zoom out a little. If you got the Helter Skelter kit, you might get this one, which I'm doing, which I'll demonstrate with the hot pink, but then odds are another one will be maybe with a blue. They're all odds and ends and a bit different from one another. Here's a fun question from Kay, which I think everyone should comment in. She says, what is everybody working on today? So yeah, comment in, everyone. Let us know what you're making today. What have you been getting up to recently? What have you been doing bead-wise lately? Now, speaking of our next little project, so that was snake knot. Nice and easy, really, really quick and simple little process. And then essentially you would just, to finish that one off, tie it into a knot and finish off your threads like that. But anyway, it's all in the instructions. That's just sort of the technique. Let's move on to the next technique now. So the next technique that I'm going to show you, shall I go with... I'll show you the braiding next, I think. So it's called fill the gap, this technique. And essentially what we'll be doing with this one, you've got like this little cardboard cutout that you can make. So essentially it comes on a piece of paper like this. And I've just taken some standard cardboard. You can just glue this little piece of paper onto your cardboard, cut it out to give you this little shape here. And I've just made myself a tiny little weight to sort of help me to create my braid. So if you have a look down here, you can see the braid's coming together quite nicely. It's a nice fine little braid. You can use thicker threads. You can use whatever size thread you want with this. You can add beads in, but all of this comes in the instructions. So if I show you the instructions just here, which, here we go. So yeah, this is from written by Shirley and also Ruth from the Braiders Guild here in the UK. So you can see this is the instruction that we're going to give you for this one just here, and essentially it does tell you how to do a diamond shape pattern. You've also got what it looks like if you use a couple of thicker cords and then some thinner cords, what you do if you use slightly fewer thick cords, how to do it with beads. There's lots and lots of different options that it tells you just down here. See this? Hopefully it will read. Come on, get in focus. Doesn't want to come in focus for some reason. But anyway, here we go. Up here it says patterns somewhere. There, yeah. Patterns, and then it just goes through all these different patterns that you can use to make your little design there. So a good bit of fun, this one, to play with, I think. But yeah, this one I'll show you. It's a really, really quick technique. I'll show you how to do the actual braiding process itself, and then I'll show you how to actually do it with some beads. So the beads is quite easy as well. Let's just get this into position. So because I've got, wait, I should have taken this bead out, doesn't matter. Anyway, so you don't want to use too heavy a weight because it will start pulling on your cardboard. If you've got something a little bit better, like some random polystyrene foam anywhere, that also works very, very well. Now let's just pop it back over here. So we can see you've got this little disc just here, and it's a 7-cord braid that we're going to be doing. So if you have a look down here at the base, I've got a nice little gap. This technique, the 7 braid, it's called fill the gap. It's a really, really simple and easy process to learn, where basically all you're going to be doing is, see how we've got strands 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 like this. And what we do to fill the gap is the same sort of process every time. So this one, it's a really, really easy beginner's braid. It's easier than Kumihimo, but it looks similar because it's on the disc, but it's even easier. So essentially, every single time we do this, we are going to turn it clockwise. So you have to remember, always turn it in the same direction. But essentially, to learn the braid technique, once you've got it set up like this, you take one from the, I guess it's sort of the 2 o'clock, 1:30 position from up here, and then bring it down, and as they say, fill the gap. Then once you've done that, we're going to rotate clockwise, bring that little gap to the bottom, and now back again at this 2 o'clock-ish position. We're going to bring it down into the middle where we've got our gap, and then we'll rotate. See that? Rotate the gap towards yourself. Grab this next one just here. So again, we're always taking this one, and we're going to jump over these 2 threads here. So over the top, bring this just out of the way, get all my threads sort of a bit neater. There we go. Take this one over the top of these 2, and then fill that little gap. Now we'll rotate it again. So we've got our gap towards the bottom, take this one here and pull that out of your little gap and into the one at the bottom there. Then just rotate again. So you see, you get the gist. It is super duper easy. So where am I now? Yes, perfect timing. So now, essentially, if you want to just continue, you see it creates these really cute little braids down here at the bottom. I should have used a more contrasting color so you could see it. Pink, I've got a pink and I've got a purple. I should have used really contrasting ones so you could see it. But it creates this really nice sort of spiraling effect. But anyway, if I just continue on now, I'll show you how you add your beads. So once you only need to put your beads on every, like maybe 2 of the threads or something. They sort of stick out and they just look a bit of fun. And all we're going to do with those is just drop in, because the kit, we give you a bag of beads. So this particular one came with what we used to call our People's Choice mix. All of these lovely, it's a mixture of all of these sort of pastel-y colors. This is just one of the color options that you get. There's about 3 or 4 others. So we just, much like in Kumihimo, we're going to pick up this thread here, slide this bead down into the center, pop it into the middle there, and now we're going to just hold it in place with our thumb, and we take this from the top here and we fill that gap. Then, keeping our thumb on it, we want to just rotate this down to the base, pick up our next little cord just here at that same position, pick him up and bring it down to this bottom piece. Keep your finger on it because this is what locks it in place. Do that just there. And now we'll do the final one. Pull that out. Go down there and into that base. And that's going to finally hold that little bead. It'll be braided in now. It'll be in position. Let's just get our threads a little bit further out of the way. And as we continue now, we can just keep going as we were, and you don't need to worry about holding it until you get to your next cord which has beads on it. So if you put them in opposite directions to each other, you won't need to do them quite so often. But anyway, let's continue with the next little gap filling. So again, we'll go from here and into this gap. Don't worry about if it comes out of there. This is what our weight is for. It's going to just take that weight. And we'll bring this down to the bottom here. This is definitely easier when you're not doing it over the top of a table. The table makes it a little bit more difficult because the threads tend to get a little bit wrapped around. But if you're doing it just sort of in midair, it will be much, much easier as well. So now let's fill that gap again. Rotate this. Take our next one. We're going to go over the top of these 2. See, look, it's a really, really easy braiding technique, this one. Just pop that up there. And then just keep going until eventually you've got your braid long enough. But it does come together quite quickly. So you can see, there we go. See, now we've got our beads. They do just sit on the outside, which is fun. So this is not quite Kumihimo, which is the question there from Marina. She says, is this a Kumihimo? Not quite. This is just a braid. So a little bit different there. Not quite the same as your Kumihimo. It's just a really, really basic braid. So something a little bit different, which is nice and fun to play with. So yeah, it's like a beginner's, ultra beginner's technique on this one. And you just sit there and just make. Lots and lots of fun like that. So that's that little braiding. There you go. Look at that. We're 20 minutes in, about half an hour in, and we're already 2 of our techniques done. Now, shall we go with, let's get these little bits out of the way. I don't need you. What shall I do next? I think I might show you now. Yeah, I might use this one. Let's do some sliding knots, shall we? Actually, yeah, let's do some sliding knots. So I'll show you a couple of different kinds of knots that you can do. This one here is our little cord necklace with the pendant. I'm only going to show you the finish. It does come with little beads as well and this nice little heart, But I don't think I'll thread any of the beads on. I'm going to just do the heart for now, just to make it a little quicker. And I'll show you. You can see me in there. Hi, everyone. So yeah, with this little heart piece just here, essentially I'm going to try and use like a luggage tie to get this nice and centrally in the center. So this little heart here, which is really nice, a very good little piece to use. Essentially, all we're going to do, we've got our cord just here. See that? Which, this is like a rat's tail cord, if you've never heard it. It's like a satin. It's kind of a spongy satin cord. And to make that into our little luggage tie type thing, I can use a tiny bit of thread again. So I'll just use a little bit of thread here, which I'm going to use to pull this through. So see how I've got this little bit of thread? I'm going to just loop it into here. And because the thread will go through the whole of the pendant much easier than this cord will, I can just poke that through there, and it gives me something that I can use to pull my thread through that little top of the pendant. See that? So that's a really quick, easy way of getting your threads through something like this. So now that I've got a little loop like this, I want to make sure it's relatively central. So I'll just adjust it ever so slightly, bring the two ends together. Bring this through there now. There we go. And now this is the center. And basically all I'm going to do to capture this is just fold it over so that the loop is now over on this other side. Zoom in a little bit here. So see that? So this was my loop here. Fold it over like this. And then I'm going to pull these threads inside. And then as I give that a nice pull, it's going to just firm up and give a really nice, neat-looking knot to the top of our little heart just here. Do you know, it's really funny that I keep seeing my reflection in the thing. Like, it's like, you know, when you go to those House of Illusions and you can sort of make yourself look really big and you go, oh, now I got a skinny head, now I got a fat head. So I can sort of play with this thing in the same way. But anyway, so now that I've got my little luggage tie on there, you can see that sits really nicely. You can turn it the other way if you prefer, but I kind of like this just there for that sort of finishing off of that piece. So now that I've got my little piece on here, I'm going to show you a couple of different knots that you can do, which will make this into a sliding knot design. So the first one I'll show you is basically we'll do one. This one's probably the easiest. So we'll do just a standard overhand knot like this. We'll start like this. So whoops, I should do that on camera. Zoom out a little bit. So yeah, we'll just take one overhand knot fairly close to the end of our piece here. And before we close it over, I'm going to take this one inside that knot and sort of along and toward. So you can see it's going to be now inside of here. Then I can slide this down towards the end of my little work just here. Pull that tight. If you get it even closer, it's kind of even better, really. So we'll pull that down nice and close to the end. Get that firm. And that's going to lock the first of my cords on. Now you can see I've got this second one over here. And what I'll do again is tie myself a nice little knot. So I'm going to go around this one and do the same process again. So essentially I want to make the same again where I've got this same style of knot, but I want this to be inside of it. So the way I'll do that is just if I lay them one on top of the other and I sort of just, where are you now? There we go. One on top of the other. And I'm going to go around this and loop back into it. There we go. So now you can see, there's that little knot now. I'll show you it once more. So we go over the top back under, all the way over. So we've created like a little loop, which this is inside of. See that? There's this little loop that we've made just here. And then I'll just thread inside my loop, and then you can pull this tight. And you'll see now, see how we've got two strands just here? These little strands, they slide. So you can tighten these little knots, get them nice and firm so that they're not going to move. And now if you want to make it a little bit longer, you can just pull your piece through so that you'll end up bringing your knots closer and closer together. See that? See how much closer they're getting now? And that's going to give you a really long finished piece. So obviously you'd want to have a little knot in here just to make sure it doesn't come through your thing again. But essentially, once you've got that there, you can then do the opposite again and pull them apart. Look at this. Isn't that a cool little knot? And then shorten your whole thing down. Look at that. What a fun little knot. So that's the first kind of sliding knot that we'll do, which just sort of brings it nice and slow, nice and small. See, look at that. Makes it smaller, makes it bigger, works really, really well. So now I'll undo this and I'm going to show you the other one, the other style of sliding knot clasp. That's number one. I've got two more, which I'll do. So one of them, the two little threads, kind of like this one, will be going in opposite directions to each other. So number one, I'm going to do it so that the two threads are going in the opposite directions, which I think this one is quite good for necklaces, because then you can just reach it back behind you and pull like this, and it will come together nicely like that. That's option one, which I'm going to show you just now, which more or less what we'll do is, whoops, we're going to wrap our little pieces so that we've got them side by side like this. And we'll take our second one here. So we've got one, we want to make sure we've got one here that we're going to be working with, which is going to be on the outside. And the other one here is going to be on this outside. So if I just pop my finger like this, under this little bit just here, essentially I'm going to, here we go, pop that here, hold it like this. So this side is the loose side, this side is this side here, and now essentially I'm going to just wrap it, so pull yourself enough that you've got enough, wrap it around my finger and this bit here, then again around my finger and that there. And I can just hold this here now. So I've just wrapped it around my finger a couple of times. I'll squeeze my finger out of it, but keeping those loops from falling apart. And then I'll just pop this little thread inside that gap, give that a pull, and there's your finished sliding knot clasp. So when you give this a pull, ready? This is going to be sort of a fixed length just here. Let's zoom out a bit. This is a fixed length, and so we need to just pull this one side here, and you can see it pulls your little piece a little tighter. So obviously what you would want to do when you do this is try and get it so that this is like your perfect wearing length. You get it so that you've got your perfect wearing length, so that this one would be a longer strand. Wait, I'll undo it slightly so you can see. Because obviously we don't need this side to be very long, the side after the knot. So from, wait, where is it? Here it is. There we go. So this bit, you can have this a little bit longer, just sort of cut it short to where you want it to be. It would almost be so that it's lopsided, so that when you pull it small, you'll give yourself way more on this side here. And then when you go to put it on, you just pull that, and then there you go. You've made them match each other, and it looks really, really lovely. So, for example, if you had it so that the knot was sitting like this, you would pull it so at maximum size. So if we say, wait, if we say this is about the size we want it to be, see how it's a little bit longer on one side, you can tie your knot at that point, so right next to this little bead just here. So there you go. That's going to be the maximum it will now be. And then we want it to be our wearing size, which is going to be as we slide it so that this end and this end now match. These two ends match. And there you go. There is your finished little necklace. You want to take it off. You just slide this down until that knot hits there. And then there you go. That's it done. So it's a really, really easy little sliding knot. We're going to do a variation on this one. So it's exactly the same again. The same sort of knot, except this time, instead of doing them in opposite directions, we're going to do them in the same direction. So see, before I pull this apart, see how one strand goes this way and the other strand goes that way. The other one, I'm going to show you that they're both coming out of the knot in the same direction, which is particularly good if you want to do like a bracelet. So this next style of sliding knot is a little bit better for your bracelets. Let's just undo our sliding knot here. Undo this one too. And now, essentially what we'll do, you know how before I made it so that one was going in this direction and the other one was going in this direction? Well, essentially we want them both to be going the same direction now. So it is very, very similar. But this time, if I say this one here, we're going to use this one to make our knot in the exact same way. So if I hold it, this is going over the top of this. And now if I just wrap it around this finger, go over the top of this again, bring it back round and hold it with my finger just in there, take my thumb out. I'll show you it even slower, shall I? So there we go. In case you missed it the first time, this one is going over the top of this piece here, which this is going to be the one that slides. This is going to become our little finished knot. So we'll wrap that around this one here, around this one, and make sure you go on the outside of your finger, not back crossing it over, on the outside of your finger, over the top of this, back around, and then hold it with your thumb. Take your finger out, and then see how there's these two little loops? We're going to loop this little piece around and back through that little piece inside there, and now as I hold this and this, it's going to pull that knot nice and firm into our next little sliding knot. So pull that tight, and now you'll see I'll just put a little knot on here which will be purely decorative because this being on our little sliding knot piece doesn't move. And then this one here, we go, okay, this is the one now that we can pull to adjust the size of our piece. See that? How do you like that? So now they're both coming out in the same direction, which if we go and have a look in terms of a bracelet, it's way easier. Instead of trying to pull one in this direction and one in the other direction, this works really nicely because all you got to do is just stick your finger on the middle knot. In fact, you can probably even just... which one am I pulling? This one here. You can probably even just pull on your little string and it will tighten up. See that? Well, didn't quite work because I forgot that I'd need to have a wrist this size. But anyway, then when you want to undo it again, you just need to pull it back out. Oops, it's got it a bit close to my other piece there. There we go. Pull that back out. And there you go. Easy. Looks good, right? What do we think? So there we go. It gets... Let's pop this little knot inside here. Pop that one there. There you go. And then there you go. You've got this tiny little piece just here, which sort of just hangs out, and you can then pull on that to lengthen and shorten. Sliding knots. There you go. So there's 3 sliding knots I've done. The one where it does it so that they're both coming out of the same direction, one where they're coming out in opposite directions, and then the one where it's the 2 knots, which looks really clean as well, I think, where you can slide them back and forth. Now, let's do some square knot macrame, shall we? So if we have a look, actually before I do that, let's have a look just here. This is a nice similar design where this one is from, where is the instruction? This is another one of the kits that we have, but with that, they're these really cool beads that you get. They are hiding. This really, really interesting looking beads just here. So you can see it's like a little loop, and you can see there's a hole just here. Turn it over, and there's another hole here. You can just do it so that the cord runs through, but the way I like to do it is so that there's a bead in the center. So more or less, if we think about how we want our necklace to look, we're going to firstly, so you can see just here on the end, because this is a woven cord, you can use a little bit of nail polish or maybe like a liquid super glue, and your super glue will just soak straight into your satin cord there, and it works like a needle. So I'm going to use this to thread on my other beads, which means this is the other end of my necklace, or you could do it as a bracelet if you wanted to. We'll go through here and just tie a little knot there. This is going to become like the end of my piece. I'd put my clasp somewhere around about here, and then this means I've got all this space around here to actually make my little piece. So first things first, I'm going to tie a knot on this end. So just bring that to tie a nice little knot over here. There we go. And now let's slide this down, because essentially we want to make this look like a little floating necklace. So people are asking about my tea. I do have it. It's the right temperature too, which is great. So yeah, so now if I want to lock this in place, I can just tie a knot, and I want it to sit really nicely butted up against this. So the way that you can do this, because it's a nice thick cord, it's extra easy to do that. But essentially we will just tie a knot like this. So just in case you didn't see that, because I did it a bit quickly, essentially it's just an overhand knot, which is sort of a looping overhand knot. So we just make that loop and then pull that cord through the loop. So that. And now if I want to make sure it gets hard up against this, I just have to slide it all the way down, get it as close as I can, sort of twist it a bit, if you will, and hold it against this little piece here, and then just ever so slowly take your time with it, get it nice and close, and just tie that nicely into position. And now you'll see this isn't going to move, so that's going to hold your little design in place. So again, really, really quick, really, really easy. Now I will use this little piece, which I've added my super glue, so it's nice and firm like a needle there. See that? It's like hard, where the rest is all soft and smooth. This has got all super glue in it, so it means that I can now find a little hole, can thread in side there, just grab that little fella. I'll grab one of my little beads that we've got, which they are exactly the same, but in round shape. So again, you've got that same really cool mottling on the rings, also on your little ball ones as well. See, they're all mottled as well. So I'll thread that one through here. Put that down towards the end. And now from the opposite end, let's go through this side here and out this one. There we go. And there you go. You can see that's got us nicely threaded on. All we have to do, I should have tied a knot first, approximately where we want to tie this knot. So we'll say, depending on how many of these little loops, you do get 7 in total, but depending on how many of those little loops you want to do, you can just sort of go, yeah, let's say this is about the spacing I want, sort of figure it out at the beginning, and I'll just do a nice knot here. I probably should have done the beads afterwards, but anyway, approximately, if you use a ruler, it'll definitely help. You can go, hey, let's make our gap, let's make it a 2-inch gap, shall we? So we can go here, this is the point where we want it to come to. So we'll just not let it come loose and slide our knot down to that 2-inch sort of gap position. And do all of the pulling with this one. Do sort of use your fingers to push the knot towards your hand and pull with this side here. And there you go, you can see you've got a nice 2-inch gap. Slide this down, and then we're going to just repeat the process again. So create that loop. See, this one goes over the top here. And reach inside, pull the other thread through. And then just as before, just use your fingers to slide the knot nice and close to our bead. Sort of hold it in place and just little by little by little pull that down into place there. There you go. Yeah, Kaylee, which is a great idea. She says, oh, hi to Oliyumi. Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us, Oliyumi. I really like it when Oliyumi joins us. I haven't seen you for a while. Thanks for joining, Oliyumi. We've got Kaylee here. She said, oh, since you've got so many, you could do 6 in a necklace and keep 1 for the bracelet and have a matching set. Exactly. That's a nice idea. If you wanted to do that, you could give that a go. But then you go. Anyway, so once you've done that, you can see that's going to be a nice, easy way. You just repeat the process again. So we'll go, yeah, let's say this is where we want our next knot. Pull it through and just slowly but surely pull our knot to that point. There we go. And there's your next 2-inch gap. Oh, I didn't quite measure it right, which is good because you can always sort of loosen these cords. It's not too bad. Just got to get it a teeny weeny bit loose. There we go. There we are. And measure it again. So it's about here that I want it to be. So let's just slide that down. And there we go. 2-inch gap. There you go. And now we can just sort of repeat the process again and again until you've got the full length, and then choose your favorite kind of sliding knot, and you can easily turn that into your finished piece. So there you go. That's that one. Now we'll move on to the next. We're almost finished. There's only one more little thing that I'll show you, which it's not going to take us very long. And then I'll show you how you can do what time is it? Yeah, I will show you how to do a 4th version of the sliding knot. Why not? I think I maybe should owe myself a nice sip of tea now. Okay, so this one here, it's our Helter Skelter bracelet. So if you have a look, it's really dark. You can't quite see it. But anyway, it's like a spiraling shape of your cord. It creates this really cool spiraling effect that you get from your cord. So essentially, you can choose, you get, I think, 5 little beads, but I've just chosen 3 of them for now, just because, why not? That'll do. But they're this really rich sort of color. Again, the colors and the beads that you're going to get are different from kit to kit. So if you have a look at the mini kits that we have, because you can get any 5 for 15, they're really, really inexpensive. You can actually get 2 or 3 of the same kit if you want to, and again it will make that you'll get all different colors to sort of try out and play with. But anyway, what we're going to do, I've tied a knot, I've got a few beads on, I need my macrame board again, didn't think about that till just now. Come on now. Pulling my snake knot bit off. So anyway, I'll just plop this onto here, one to the top, and I'll stick the beads in the center here, and I'll put the other one down the bottom. So you can see one notch is in here with the knot on the back, and then the other one's down here like this as well. So this is going to give us about our bracelet's length plus a little bit more for our sliding knot clasp, not our sniding knot clasp. Then we have a second cord that we're going to use to do our sort of spiral helter-skelter knots. Do you know what you call a helter-skelter, the type of slide that spirals? We have a totally different name for that in Australia. We call them slippery dips. But yeah, so we need to, more or less, we've got one like this. We're going to take a long thread, which is about 1 meter-ish, and we're going to put that underneath this one here. We want to find the central point. So we'll just slide that till we find our nice center, which is about here. So see that? And we're going to tie this point to our thread with just like a normal overhand knot, the way how you would start your shoelaces, kind of. So we'll go one over the top, and just like I said, like how you would start your shoelaces. So one underneath, one over the top. And if you want to make it extra secure, you could go through again, but I won't. And we'll make sure that we've got our two ends together again, and we'll just slowly pull that. So if you keep your finger in the gap, when you're pulling, it will get it nice and close to being even, 50-50. And then we can just do the last little finishing of the knot just here. So get that nice and firm there. Now that we've got this here, we'll have one thread to the left and one thread to the right. And this will give me, if I slide this down a little, to about here, we want to make sure that we leave enough space for our little clasp section, which we can do this a bit later on. So probably about, I don't know, around about 1/3 of the way through here. So if I take this now, we're going to do some square knot macrame, which if you haven't seen this before, it's nice and easy. Again, we're doing all easy things here. Lots and lots of easy techniques, just blasting through them, one to the next to the next. I don't know. The video said there was going to be 5, but I'm pretty sure I've done more than that already, and we've got 2 more to go. So anyway, I could even do 3 if I wanted to. Great. Cindy, she says, hi, Matt. Welcome, Cindy. Thanks for joining. By the way, who's new? Somebody who's new, comment in. I want to give a shout out to someone who's new. So comment in, anybody who is brand new, never watched before. I want to pop your comment up and want to say hello and sort of welcome you to the community of my live streams. We've got some hardcore regulars who are here week in, week out. So we'll introduce you. Now that I've got this, essentially I want to do my square knot macrame. I'm keeping my eye out for the comments coming up. We're going to do square knot macrame, which the way that works, see how we've got this central piece here? We want to go over the top here like this. So we've created like a D shape on the left. So we've got our D over the top here. And we're going to take our, see this goes out over here sort of horizontally. So loop around over the top and then horizontal. We'll take our other one here. We're going to make sure we go over the top of this. And then see how we've got this little cross in the center? We're going to take the end of our thread under the cross. So it will go underneath this and underneath this. So under the cross, like that there. I'm going to pull that all the way through. And as you'll notice, it will start looking a bit like that same shoelaces sort of knot, but we've got our cord through the middle. So we'll give that a pull. And then that's going to create a nice little knot there. So I'll just zoom in a teeny weeny touch. I'll do a few knots. There we go. And let's do another one. So again, to make that spiraling effect, we want to keep doing our D on that same shape, on that same side. Hi to Linda, by the way. She says hello from California. And this person here, she says, I'm new. Mandy Cook. Welcome, Mandy. Thanks for joining us. She says, I'm new. So everybody, especially those in YouTube, comment in and say hello to Mandy, who is brand new. We need someone on Facebook. Who's watching on Facebook who's brand new? Someone comment in. But yeah, so let's continue now. I'll do my D again on this side just here. If you've got any questions, by the way, chuck them in the comments. I'm keeping my eye on them, so I'll try and keep note of those. So again, we'll do our D on this side. We'll go straight out over here. We'll pick this side up, and we're going to go over the top. And now we've got our little plus shape just there, our cross. And I'll go underneath and into that little D shape that we made at the beginning. So we'll go up out of that D shape. See that? Towards the camera. Through there, pull that tight, and that's going to create our next little knot. By the way, there's a comment that's just popped up, which I'm definitely going to show on the screen. It's from Betty Bennett. She's been a customer of ours for a really, really long time. Years and years and years. She says, hi, I haven't been able to watch the live stream for a while, but she's not working this afternoon, so she's able to join. I love your tutorials. Thank you for sharing. Well, thank you, Betty, for being one of our, what Dad likes to call repeat offenders. Those people who keep coming back again and again and again. Beading repeat offenders. But yeah. Okay, let's continue now. So let's do our next one. So I'm going to blast through these now. Hopefully you've kind of got the technique. I'll do this last one nice and slow, and then I'm going to just whip through a few so you can start to see the effect coming through. Now, over the top again here. So we've made our D, goes out to the side, over the top, and then this little cross just here. We're going to go underneath both threads inside of that D shape. And then we just pull it up like that. Pull that tight. And if you have a look, you'll just notice, see these knots? They're sort of starting each time you do one. They start to just rotate round and round and round and round and round. Betty says, I love being a repeat offender. I'm glad it makes you happy. You know that we all love you guys around here, our repeat offenders especially, which there's quite a few of you. I know I've noticed some are missing from today's stream, but you know, I'm sure they'll probably watch later. Jan Alston, she'll be probably watching later. Thanks for being a repeat offender, Jan. Wayne, who's here, he's always here. Stacy, she's always here. Kay, you're always here as well. These are some of the gurus of my stream. They've been around. I started streaming about a year ago, and I think you guys have probably seen almost all of them. Also, just one last little comment, and actually, I'll do this. I'll do this one last knot. I'll just blast through some knots, and then I'll read out some of the comments that people have been commenting in. There was one lady, Chantel, who says, I'm from Quebec. Hello from Canada. Again, she's on YouTube. Thanks for watching, Chantel, being brand new. If you are also new, I'm going to just keep doing these knots while you watch. If you're also new, don't forget, have a little look. We've got in the description there. So if you're on Facebook, the description will be up above. If you're on YouTube, the description is down below. You can click on there. We're giving all of our new people, we always do this, anyone who signs up new, you can get a £5 voucher to try out some of our beading patterns. So we do lots and lots. I think there's about 120 different patterns that we do on our website. And one of those could be yours for free. You can get £5 worth of our patterns for free. So let's just keep going. You can sort of start to see that this spiraling effect is starting to take shape. Ready? As I pull it tight, you'll see it's going to rotate that little bit more. Do another one. Apparently Jan's on holiday. I hope you're having a lovely holiday, Jan, if ever you see this. Here we go. Ready? Watch it again. I'll zoom in so that you can really, really see it. As I pull this one tight, it's going to just rotate that little bit more. Then I'll do another one so that you can see it rotate again. And ready, watch the rotation. Whoop. Just rotates that tiniest little bit as I pull it tight. And that's kind of what's giving us this spiraling effect. So now I'll go under there again. And once I'm at this point, I don't know, it doesn't really matter too much. There we go. You can see you've got that really nice spiral starting to happen. Now let's add in a bead, shall we? So I'll just slide a bead in. And now we can just repeat the process again, sort of doing the same thing. It's the exact same knot, but it's going to just go around our bead. So I'll do the D again. We'll go over the top over here. We'll go underneath this cross. This is a good close-up, I think. Here we go. And then as we just pull that tight, this time, it's going to lock our bead nicely in place. So if you pull that nice and tight, you'll see, there you go, look at that. It just hugs that little bead from the sides and loops that in. So now, again, we can just keep going. We'll do a few more under there. And pull. Then we'll go over the top here. Just keep going. I'm going to try and do these nice and quick so that you'll start seeing we've got our looping happening again. There we go. Do the next. And the next. You can really see that spiral starting to happen again. Oh yeah, that is a point. Jermaine's just reminded me, I do have to tell you, which is a very good point, that if you do get our little bundle, I'll show you it on the website, there's free earrings that you'll get as well. Also, don't forget the Christmas tree kit that that I did this week. I did last Friday, and then I put it together on Wednesday. If you want to get that little fella, that one also is still available on sale, not for too much longer, but a little bit more. You can get that one too from our website. So the Christmas tree, which was very, very popular, it took us till Thursday to get all of the orders out because people just kept ordering it and ordering it and ordering it. Let's add our next bead. That is still on sale, so you'll still get your 15% off, but time is almost run out for that one. You've got until Sunday. So if you want to get the Christmas tree, I'll show you what it looks like real quick. While I do some of these knots. Oh, actually, I'll have to show it to you just here. I won't be able to hold it up because it will disappear. Ready? Wait till you see. This is what happens when you use a green screen and you have a green Christmas tree. You can see all of the decorations, though. That's cool, isn't it? Fun thing about green screens. Means I can, cut myself out, have myself sitting in the corner. But here is that Christmas tree. So if you want to get this Christmas tree, it includes everything. You've got till Sunday for the discount. So you've got the angel, you get all of these little leafy bits, all of your different decorations. You also get the base, you get the wrapping wire and everything, and you'll also get the pattern and the beads for the little reindeers at the base there. So if you want to get that, you don't have too much longer. But also, we'll come back to it. Let's just do a few more knots here so you can really start to see, and then I'll show you that last little technique, which is going to be the, maybe I'll just do two because it's quicker. The last few knots, just here. I'll just do it with two beads so I can show you the closing knot. There we go, a few more. By the way, another little tip for when you're doing this, because you're always using the same thread. No, you're using alternating threads to do your thing. Maybe that's not a good one. If you want to do the flat knots, it works better. But essentially, you can also, I'll show you actually, I'll transition. Let's transition to flat knots, shall we? It's going to make the bracelet not look so good, but it doesn't matter. So if I do one last one, here like this. If you want to have flat knots, so if you don't like the spiraling effect, see that spiral, and you would prefer the knots to just be flat, you just alternate the side that you do your little D shape on. So let's have a look. By the way, congratulations to Kaylee, who says, I'm unpacking my new flat. Happy move-in. I hope it's going well for you. Jackie says, I like the spiral. Well, I like the spiral too, but someone might prefer it flat. We'll see. Again, Rachel asks, what is the cord you're using? This is our same smooth and slinky cord. So the ribbon cord I was using earlier, it's the exact same material. It uses that polyester core, and then it's got the strands of rayon, which is man-made silk, woven around the outside to make it feel really soft, really nice. So anyway, if I wanted to transition to start making it flat, I can do the opposite side. So if you just switch between sides, so the way to know which one you want to do again and again and again, tie a teeny weeny little knot at the base of your cord, and this is the one now that we're going to do our D shape with. So usually we would just keep doing the D on the same side, same side, same side, same side. Now I'm going to do it with the same thread, same thread, same thread. So I'll use this thread now to do my D shape. We'll go over the top, and we're going to do it exactly the same but in mirror image. Pull that tight. Now I've got my knot in here, so I'll do the D shape with this side. So you can see this one that's got the knot, that's the one I'm doing, starting with to make my D. Underneath there, pull that up, do it nice and tight. Now my one with the knots over here, so let's do that D shape over here. Go underneath, pull that tight. Here's the knot here, so let's make that D. Over the top, under the cross. Pull that one tight, and you can start to see it's now becoming a flat square knot. See, look, here's the one with the knot. Over the top, under there. Pull that tight. There's the next one. Do another. I'll do like 2 or 3 more just so that we can really see it. And then hopefully you'll be able to see the difference between the two. There we go. 2 more. Pull. Last one. See, look, you can see these come together super quick. Look how much I've made. It's probably like, you know, half a bracelet's worth. It's definitely going to cover my wrist for that. So look, you'll see the difference is there's your spiral and my hairy arm, and then there's the flat part and my hairy arm. But yeah, see, this is the difference. If you keep alternating the sides, it gives you a really nice flat knot, and if you don't alternate, you get this twist, which even if you wanted to, you could alternate between flat, twist, flat, twist, flat, twist, and have like a twist like this, and then it goes back into flat. Then it goes a twist, and then flat, and then twist and flat. And it's all sort of in situ. It doesn't change anything. It's just the way that you're doing the knots that gives you that difference. So see that? Easy, fun, play with it. So anyway, that's going to do for this. And now, as promised, yeah, there's plenty of time. We haven't been going too long. I'm going to do that last little... Let's take this piece off because I'm not going to use the bead on there. And I'm going to show you how to do a fourth version of that sliding knot. So the cool thing is, take this bead off. We don't need this. Here we go. So if we just, I mean, I shouldn't do this because then I'd have to glue it, but this is just a practice piece, so let's just cut this off so they're not going to be in my way. And essentially, I'm going to use one last piece, which is about 40-50 centimeters worth, to create my sliding knot, which is a great clasp for this. So if I just tie a little knot back in it here, put this one here. If you just lay these over, one over the other, so just bend it, make it sort of a bit more rounded. You'll see if we lay these over the top of each other, like this, we can use this now as our central core, and we can do a few more of these square knots. You can do them flat, or you can do them in the spiral version, whatever is your preference, but essentially, we'll just get straight into. So you know how I anchored it on with a knot at the beginning? I'm not going to do this. I'm going to just do the, as Rebecca has said, the D's and the P's shape. So I'll do my first little loop over the top there. This one I'm going to take, oops, over the top there. There we go. Try and it's easier if you pin this down, but because I can't really pin this to anything, the table's not really going to pin so well. So let's just wait. Let's pull that over. Do my D. We're going to go over the top of this and then under the cross, which is just here. Pull that in. And try not to get it caught. Have I dropped it? Yes, I did. Start again. of course. Do you know what? I'm going to just tie the knot to it just to anchor it in place because I can't tie it down. Just to make my life a teeny weeny bit easier. Just tie that very loosely though, this one. Otherwise, your knots won't slide. So just keep that there nice and loose. And this is going to be the basis of our sliding knot clasp. You could use one of the other styles if you prefer, but let's just do inside this gap, over the top, under the D, and pull that tight. So we're going to do that around both threads now. Don't do it too tight though. If you do it too tight, your thread won't slide. So we want to keep it fairly loose. You can do it in spiral mode, which, well, why not? Let's do it. I'll do a spiral form. So let's just maximize. Now that I've got this, I can sort of extend it a bit more to make my life a little bit easier. There we go. Go over there. Under the cross. And pull. And do it again. Do's my D, which looked more like a P now that I think about it before, but it doesn't matter. Pull through there. Do it again. Not too tight. Under that little D. Pull that. Just keep doing it, a few more. Doesn't need to be very long in general, this piece. You can make it as long or as short as you want so that it gives you a really nice fit once you wear it. But essentially, the size of this clasp section doesn't matter. The only thing that's important is that you don't do it too tight. Because if it's too tight, your knots won't slide. It's kind of like you want to feel it get firm, but then don't pull it any tighter than that. So over the top. Last one now. This will be the last knot I do. Through that little D. Pull that tight. And there we go. Not too tight though. So yeah, now essentially what I can do is pull one knot through here, pull the other knot through the other way, and you can see it just brings it all down much smaller, much larger as I pull it outwards again. So there you go. You see you've got these sliding knot clasps. Let's just pull that. I'll chop these threads off so they're not quite in the way. Even though this is potentially going to make my piece come undone. Doesn't matter. And now you can stick it on your wrist. And then you just press your finger on that little knot. Pull one side. Turn it over. Pull the other side. And then there you go. It's going to sit nicely on your wrist. I mean, obviously, because I haven't finished it off properly, this looks very messy, but you see that the sliding knot works. Yeah, so those are our little mini kits, which we've got 9 different options of. If I show you it really, really quickly, did you prefer the spiral or did you prefer the flat, by the way? I'll show you the website real quick. So that's pretty much all it is for demonstration-wise. I've done all of those different things now. There was a lot of different things. What did I show in the end? There was that luggage knot. I also showed you 4 different sliding knots. I showed you 2 different square knots. We did the snake knot as well. We did some of those overhand knots. What else? The braiding as well. Gee, this was packed a lot in here. I said the video said 5, but there was, I don't know, 8 different techniques. Maybe more, 10. Can't count. So yeah, let's have a quick look over onto the Bead Spider website. So as usual, we've got it up on the homepage. So if I just show you the homepage from today, it looks like this. This is today's homepage. You can see just here, if you want to try out these kits, try something, learn something new, make it in minutes. As you can see, they don't take very long. That little bracelet I did, sure, it's only a mini one, but that fit quite nicely. If you click onto View All Related Products, the big purple button down here, the dark purple one, click on that button there, or the link that's in the description. Either one will do. It will take you to where you can find all 9 different kits that we've got. So here's that knotted pendant one that I showed you. We've got a leather link one here, which uses some leather. This is that braiding one I did with the 7 strands filling the gap. Here's that helter-skelter I was just doing, the square knot. snake knot, sorry, one here. The one with the rings, which again, they do come with all different colors. The honeycomb, this one's probably the most popular. Again, that one uses quite a bit of macrame there. The crown knot, that's a super fun one as well. And then we've got this one with the leather there. If you want to get just one, they're £4. But we're doing a special because, especially with Christmas coming up, they are perfect little stocking fillers. So either if you want to make presents for people, or if you want to if you want to make the presents for people, you can make them. You can buy the kits, make them up, and give them as gifts, which, especially for like teachers and things like that, they're quick, they're easy, they don't take long. If you otherwise, though, want to sort of share your passion and give something to someone that will encourage them to maybe try a new hobby, these are also great because they're designed for complete beginners. As you saw, this video, I showed you quite a lot of techniques which are in these, but all you have to do, if you get this one, you will get that free gift there at the bottom, which is a pair of crystal earrings using some little crystal cubes and things, and then just pick the ones that you like. You have to get at least 5, so it works out £15. 5 kits for £15. That's such a bargain. But anyway, if you want, you can go, yeah, I want two different crown knot ones. I'll have a honeycomb. Ooh, I'd like a bohemian one. And maybe I'll get a snake knot. So you can see I've got my 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll also get your free gift, and then you can just add them to your basket. But if you want, once you've got your 5, you don't have to stop there. You can get more. So you can, if you're tossing up between 2, they're only going to be £3. It's not really breaking the bank too much. So you can go, do you know what? I also want one of those braiding ones. And I like the leather one. I'm going to put that in too. So there you go. You can see now I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different little kits and the free gift. Do you know what? Let's make it 8 little kits. I would like that helter-skelter. Add it to your basket and you'll see in your basket up the top, it adds it all to your thing. And then here in your basket, you can see all of those things. They're all added at £3. So 8 kits for £24 and then the bonus free gift as well. So technically 9 little kits for £24. Really, really good bargain that we've done that one. And then you can just check out when you're ready and so forth. Otherwise, go do some other shopping. So for example, if you head back to the home page, if you missed my beaded Christmas tree, you can click on it there on the right. See just here on the right where it says beaded Christmas tree. Otherwise, where it says in the light purple, all upcoming and previous shows. If you missed the tutorial though, if you click the one where it says previous shows, you go over to that one. And then here you can see, here's part 1 of the tutorial. Scroll on down. Here's part 2 where I assembled it. Come a little bit further, you can see all of our Christmas products if you want to, but if you just want to find out about the Christmas tree, you click on this button down here, view all related products. Let's click on that. And then there we go. If you want to get the Christmas tree kit, there it is, $24.95 on sale. So it's a little, like 15% off. So it's quite a good bargain. Hopefully, yeah, that's a bit better. If you want to get one of our bead spinners, they're just there as well, $21.95. Our tool set, the stainless steel 8-piece tool set, which I've been using the scissors and the tweezers and things today. They're there. The tea light patterns, this has been, lots of people have been getting the patterns because obviously you can see at the base of the Christmas tree, we've got that tea light candle pattern, which is exclusive to the one with the tree. But if you want to get 10 more, there's a whole bunch of them just here. That you can get. Plus, we've got lots and lots of Christmassy beads and wire and stuff. It's all on here. If you want to get them, that's that little bit there. But essentially, that's everything that we're doing this weekend. Lastly, I guess the last thing I'll show you is if you want to join our Facebook group. We have a group on Facebook, which lots and lots of you have joined. There's now 6,400 members, which I'm pretty sure when I did my tutorial a week ago, on last Friday, there was 5,000, hence why because we're doing a competition, aren't we? So we've got our little festive beading competition running just here. This was saying we're excited to announce that we've got 5,000 members on the 27th of October. It's now the 5th, and we've got 6,400, 1,400 more people. So thanks for all of you for signing up and joining and everything. But yeah, you can see in here, we just got lots and lots of different people. Hey, here's me just here demonstrating right now. There you go. Look, 500 new members in the last few hours. Yeah, loads of people posting their things. Go on in there, check it all out, and see what sort of things you have in there. But if you want to enter our beading competition, which is this one just here, you can click on that, festive beading competition, and you'll see, if I hide this, you don't want to see that. There we go. There's all the details there about how to enter, and you can see we've got lots of people who've been posting their pictures to enter. So just down here, look at that. All of these different designs that people have been posting, that things that they've made, which I really like this one. Kaylee, who's watching, she's posted this little picture just here, which I think is just absolutely fabulous. A little nutcracker guy there. He's super cool. And Carolyn, who was posted a few hours ago, this piece, which I think is a lovely, beautiful wreath as well. But anyway, yeah, go on, post, see what it is that you like, and enter the beading competition. But yeah, I guess you've got to be in it to win it, I guess, if that's how it works, isn't it, these days? But yeah, so pretty much that's everything from this week. Last chance on the Christmas tree. If you want to get that one on discount, you've got till Sunday. If you liked our little mini kits, they are really, really inexpensive because we want to encourage people to, you know, take up a new hobby. Why not? But yeah, go and grab those. Again, that's on sale for about a week. I will be back with my next tutorial. We'll see. I'll definitely be on Friday next week. I might, maybe, see how I feel. Do one on Wednesday as well. We're thinking that during November we might do 2 per week, but we'll see. I already started with one on Wednesday last week, so maybe I'll follow that throughout the month of November and leading up to Christmas. We'll see. But I'll definitely be back in time for next Friday, maybe Wednesday, but definitely Friday. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Let's see who we've still got here. We've got Betty is still here. We've got Kay. Rebecca is here. Stacy. We've got Wayne. Julie. Nancy is here as well. Susan. She got her Christmas tree order yesterday, she says, as well, which is pretty cool. I'm glad you've got it. I hope you enjoy making it. But yeah, so I guess Kay, she says, "Wow, lovely designs. Great. I'm glad you like them. There's always we've always got loads of things that we're presenting. So if you haven't seen this before, make sure you like our channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, like our Facebook group. Sign up to our newsletter if you want to get that £5 voucher for any of our beading patterns. Like, for example, if you're going to get the Christmas tree and you want to get the matching tea lights, you can get them for free because the tea light patterns, oh, I forgot about the Christmas tree part, going invisible. Anyway, yeah, if you want to get the tea light patterns, you can get them for free then. If you're new and subscribing to our email list for the first time, you get a new voucher. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. I hope you had lots of fun. I hope you learnt lots of new things. Comment down below. Tell me which of the techniques did you like the best? What did you think was the most interesting? Which one do you intend to use next? If you have a go at making any of these things, feel free to comment in with things that you've made from the techniques that I've taught you. But anyway, thank you all very, very much for joining me on today's tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm off to enjoy my weekend, and I hope you're all going to do the same. I will see you next week, maybe Wednesday, definitely Friday. But have a lovely weekend. I've got some Formula 1 to be watching, which is great for me, and I'll see you all next week. Thank you all very, very much for joining me. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.